Welcome back to the Vault, guys, and this short episode, and we're going to get straight into it. It's been a while since I've discussed anything Sasquatch Bigfoot related. In the latter half of 2022, not much was coming from me because there wasn't that much that I was finding or coming across that was interesting or exciting, but that has all changed, and I want to share it with you guys right now. So let's take a quick flight from the gloomy shores of England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland and fly over to Francis Peak in Utah. Francis Peak is in an area called Wasatch Mountains. Francis Peak sits at about 9,552 feet elevation. Here at Francis Peak we get two for the price of one. Special mention to the guys from Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organisation, RSMO, who originally brought these two videos to my attention. Both videos were filmed really recently in February of 2023, so where you see in this image the snow-covered mountains, they would be covered in a lot more snow right now, and they are in the videos. So in this first video, this is two gentlemen filming from the small town of Farmington. Now, Farmington sits at about 4,300 feet, so it's about 5,000 feet lower in elevation than Francis Peak that we're seeing on the footage. And so, just to give you an idea of distance, that Farmington from Francis Peak is about 10.8 miles. So this is being filmed on a specialized camera, not a mobile phone, and it's at top zoom. That's why the quality is so poor. The footage will improve slightly in just a moment, where the guys at RSMO stabilized and slowed it down. But they also removed some of the original audio, because the two gentlemen were using the F word quite a lot, and understandably so. The snow at the top of Francis Peak at this point is about 90 inches deep. So if, like me, you think in meters, that's about 2.5 meters deep. Just to remind you, it's 9,556 feet elevation. That's a third of the height of Mount Everest. So let's have a look at what a guy looks like who is approximately 6 foot tall, walking in 18 inches of snow. Now, even though the quality of the footage on the full zoom isn't very good, what is still clear to see is that whatever it is in the footage is bipedal. And, you know, in comparison to that man walking in the snow, and something at that elevation trying to run up that kind of deep snow, it just seems pretty incredible, really. Now, what's also pretty incredible is that there was another gentleman who lives locally to the area of Farmington Town and Francis Peak, who is a pilot. And he saw the video that the guys over at RSMO shared of this footage on social media and thought, do you know what, I fly over that peak anyway, so I'm gonna go up there and fly around and see if I can see something. And this next video, which was filmed a matter of days later, is what he saw. So the pilot that had flown up to the top of the peak in his helicopter caught these tracks. Now, one, they're giant footprints. Two, they're in single file, which is quite consistent of Sasquatch Bigfoot tracks where they are running that single file. And really interesting that these were filmed or picked up quite close to where the footage was filmed in the original footage. So at this point you might be asking, why am I so interested in these two pieces of footage? Well, as an open-minded skeptic, footage is always very dubious because video footage, unless you were absolutely 100% there when it was filmed, can be doctored, edited, and we all know how great and sophisticated special effects are these days. But there's a couple of things that we need to consider that make this really interesting. Number one, both of these pieces of footage take place at about 9,500 feet elevation in the middle of winter in extreme conditions, and the snow at the top of this mountain is 2.5 meters deep at this point. There are individuals, so say for example that we say to ourselves that this is a person, it is a human. What are they doing at 9,500 feet elevation by themselves? Because there are people that are specially survival trained. But even those that have the best training, the best experience, would not venture out to a location like this by themselves. That would be a first indication that they're actually quite novice and haven't taken on board their training, because for a matter of survival, you don't go to areas like this by yourself. So that's number one that makes this very unusual. Number two is the tracks. They really go to support this evidence, because again, if somebody was going to hoax those tracks, you can clearly see that there is only that one single row of prints. If somebody had some sort of prop or was faking the footprints, you'd see all the other footprints around from where they had done so. So it would be extremely difficult to kind of set this up in the way that we see it on the camera footage. So for those two reasons, regardless of the fact that this is video footage, I think it's incredibly interesting, and we need to keep our eyes on what's going on in Utah, and especially around this area of Wasatch Mountains and Francis Peak. Please let me know in comments what you think of this incident in Utah and these two pieces of footage. And thanks for watching, guys, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again here in the vault real soon. Look after yourself.